comprehensive assessment. We've been able to identify, pinpoint some of those bottlenecks. How do we remove those bottlenecks? Come with a kind of strategic reform, but be tactical in doing so. So that's what we're doing.
Thank you.
What is Liberia's total energy demand right now?
Right now, when you take out the mining potential that are supposed to be connected, like Casella, B Multi, when you take them because they are not connected to the grid, our peak load now, when I took over, is around 94, 96, but now it's around close to 120, 125 because the confidence is building. So we are going pretty close to 130 megawatts.
130 megawatts. How much is Mount Coffee producing now?
Mount Coffee will have 3 turbines operating now, each about 18. There are 20 actually because of redundancy. So it's to be on the safe side, we allow 80, 57.
How many turbines in total should be on at
Supposed to be 4, but 1 turbine was done since to 2021. It's been 4 years since, and this is where I spoke the last time for Liberian people to be patient with us. Whenever we see our SCADA, that last week there was some low shedding. People thought that, oh, fuel finished yet. No, fuel did not finish. When there was a tripping on the CLSD line, the Mount Coffee, there was total blackout. Right there was SCADA, something like an exclamation mark to tell you that there's something. So we shut down the system to review, to understand what happened. If you continue to rush to operate, when danger happens, you go like what happened with the first unit.
Okay.
First unit got down, 5 years up to now, it's not yet fixed. We're spending tens of millions of dollars. To avoid that, we went 1 week to restore it. Now it is restored. So 3 turbines, 18, close pretty much to 57 megawatts.
When do you hope to get the 4th turbine working?
In 12 months, we started counting in May.
Okay. How much are you getting from outside? How many megawatts?
We have a contract with Cote d'Ivoire, 50 megawatts signed, but we can go beyond that. Even though we have contracts signed under the power purchase agreement, but they are not obligated to give all the 50 based on our own record with them. In the past, we were not forthcoming, settling our debts, and so usually they used to give 5, 10, 15. But based on our own regional network and our credibility along the line, when we took over, we talked with the folks in Cote d'Ivoire, we were getting 50, sometimes 60, 55, up to now. We're still getting more. Then Guinea, we talked with Guinea, we signed power purchase with Guinea, 25 to 30 megawatts. So Guinea is giving 30. When you put 50 and 30, that's 80 megawatts. And you combine that with Mount Coffee 57 and the Busho, the GOL 1 unit that is up, 9 megawatts. The Jaka 2 unit, 8 megawatts. The World Bank 2 unit, 5 megawatts. When you put all those 18, you add it, you pretty much close, low, shedding, 0. There where we are going now.
Yeah, because that's why it shows. Because you said 94 for the total demand.
That was there, but now it is more than that. We are 130 now, 1 peak demand. Okay, it's increasing now. We are adding industry, SETI. We are adding SETI. We are adding different largest users. So the peak demand increasing as well. Our projection in the next 2-3 years will be close to 400 megawatts. And this is why we are working with the private sector to put 270 megawatt gas turbine in Buchanan. Okay. In the clock started ticking in April. We signed a term sheet in April for that. So the clock has started ticking. In about 18 months' time, we should have the first 140 megawatts available. And that is a combined gas that will come through LNG, liquefied gas. It comes in the liquid form. You re-gasify it back to natural gas. You fire it out to get energy. Now, 12 months after, you will have combined cycle. The price will drop by 20 to 30%. So instead of 12 cents, you come down to 8 cents.
Has it already started?
Yes, we signed a term sheet already. Okay. We are currently negotiating the power purchase agreement.
You talk about Bushwell. That's the HFO, right?
Yes, sir.
How are you getting it in the country? Because there has been historical problem with getting the heavy diesel fuel in the country with HFO. Yeah. So what is the situation like? Are we going to reach a place where They will say, okay, you know what, we don't have a shave or storage for HFO again, so bushra is down, so we lack maybe X amount of power again.
No,
What's the plan to sustain the
yeah,
heavy diesel coming in?
yeah, that's what the Honorable Senator, that's what we said. We did our assessment, and through this assessment, it sort of trigger our own strategic plan. And part of that plan is to prepare before you can start reading. And part of that preparation, we just launched bidding process for the HFO supply. Already we have an existing contractor that will be ending soon. That supplier usually supplies a framework contract. They supply HFO. And HFO is something that it's not something you just bring for anybody to buy. It's specialized.
Yeah. No.
Only GOL and CETI use HFO. So no business will bring it and just keep it.
Yeah.
You have to have a contract with them.
That's
So
why
we are unbundling it to open the market, and we've done so. Currently, the evaluation is ongoing.
Okay, Mr. IDMD, those were my active questions. I would just like to close by saying, thank you. I've been having, on a personal note, electricity program at my home that have lasted 2 managing directors. We spoke briefly within 24 hours. Today is my first anniversary at my house to use LEC, and thanks to you. We hope that, this is serious, yeah. So we hope that you will do well in your performance here today to convince other senators who will be consulting to have you confirmed.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking my questions. And Mr. Chairman, thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you, Senator Twa. I'm sure at least you were trying to ask on the chat soon. Senator Augustine Chief, followed by Senator Darius DeLong. Mr. Namili. Yes, sir. Welcome again. In your statement in chief, you alluded to the issue of power theft. It must have a challenge in terms of your revenue collection and sustainability. Is that problem? Now, thank you, Senator Chair. It is a significant challenge on our part because as we bring, for every $1 we bring, work for energy, we are charging only 62 cents. About 48, I would say, 38 cents or something like that, 42 cents loss, both technical and commercial. But commercial being the highest, serious challenge. A lot of people bypassing meters, and the power we are bringing from outside will pay for it. If you don't pay, they cut you off. The reason why they have not cut us off, we are around that huge chance of over $10 million we owed. We have over 20 will be reducing. The last week we paid 4.5, the week before we pay. So we are moving on, did not cut off, but the power theft is alarming. And this is why, as I indicated in my statement, we strengthen the anti-power theft with Mirrorbro. And also, what we are also doing, we're doing mass metering. What that means, Honorable Senator, is that we go to your place and identify those that are connected. You see them connected, about 1,338. Out of that, 355 is paid. The rest is free. So we reconnect you.
Okay. Good morning, and a pleasant welcome to yet another edition of the Today Show right here on Spawn 107.5. This is your most preferred breakfast program from ODS Congo Town in Monrovia, Liberia. Welcome, and of course, my name is Yekezi Zwobel. Let's have a wonderful time together, because this is your trusted morning companion. Both on radio and television, where the stories shaping our country are brought to you. And every weekday morning, we dive deep into the political ties, economic trends, social dynamics, and religious perspectives that define our national discourse. From the halls of power to the heart of the community, no topic is off limits, and no issue is too complex for us to discuss here on this show. So, good morning and welcome. Thanks for joining us this morning, and let's have a wonderful, wonderful time together. We've got a lot of issues to talk about here this morning on the show. But first, I'd like to say good morning to those of you watching us live on Spoon TV. Ruth is watching us. Ruth Chahari. Hope I got the pronunciation of your last name right. Ruth. Ambassador Fopa G. Flomo Jr. is following from GSA Road, Zina Hill. Thanks for following the show. Nelson Michelle is following. Yep. Thanks for following the show, Nelson, this morning from your end. Also, Peter Mo Grace Kessley is following the show this morning. Peter, thanks for following the show. Thomas Sigwit is following the show. Yeah, my own friend and brother, CDC, Papi Sauces Gator for Life. Yeah, thanks for following the show, Papi. And the rest of you following the show this morning, keep following and comment right down there in the comment section. We will try to pin your comments live on the screen this morning. Yeah, but we've got limited time this morning to be here. So let's dive immediately into some of the trending issues happening in the country. Yeah, so let's begin on a softer note this morning. Recently on social media, you've been seeing information circulating about Gary the blogger, right? Yeah, Gary his blog happens to be the most followed blog in Liberia. His social media blog tend to be corrected, but of all of the top social media blogs that I know in Liberia, Gary's blog, commands a very huge following, the highest following so far I have seen for a Liberian blog to have. So recently there's been this information circulating on social media about Gary getting in a fight with a musician, Tango Dibaga. That's the name he goes by, Tango Dibaga. So and according to the information, the fight was prompted when Gary saw Tango with his ex-girlfriend, who goes by the name Nikki. Yeah, they were in a club, and he saw Tango and this is alleged ex-girlfriend together, and that got him mad, got into the fight with Tango, and that fight led to a very, very serious injury to the neck of Tango, critically injured. And the footages have been circulating on social media. But from Gary's account, Gary is saying that when Tango entered the club, he wasted their drinks, his drinks. They were sitting on a table. He was sitting on a table with his friends and all of that. And when Tango entered the club while passing, with Gary's alleged ex-girlfriend, he wasted his drinks. And that is where the entire tussle started. All right, but that is his account. But other accounts say, it's just because of the ex-girlfriend. All right. But we understand that Gary was arrested due to the, injury he caused to the neck of Tango Tango. He was arrested. He was detained, but he's been released. And the latest information I saw about this incident is that the two individuals have reconciled. You know, somebody had intervened between them, had been able to talk between them, and apparently Tango Tango had let everything just slide away. So but let's play this clip, this footage. And in this video footage, you see Tango Tango sitting alongside Gary. There's an individual sitting between them, and I believe she's the one who brought about or intervened between them over the confrontation or the fist fight that they had. So let's take a listen of this video footage, and we come.
I was not expecting him, but he did what he did. So I don't have much to say. You already know me. I don't like talking plenty. I only like to talk on my vlog. I don't like talking even on camera. So today, me and Gary reconcile because we're not in beef. It just happened. So the people that saying we were fighting for Wilmer Bennett, it wasn't for no Wilmer Bennett. No Wilmer Bennett. So to all those that carry fake news, like I said, I forgive him, and y'all keep talking. Because if you don't talk, I don't think some of y'all gonna be here today. So y'all can keep talking. To all my fans that have been saying good and bad things, shout out you and shout out everybody. Shout out you, my brother Gary.
Respect, bro. Respect, bro.
I was not expecting him, but he did what he did. So I don't have much to say. You already know me. I don't like talking plenty. I only like to talk on my vlog. I don't like talking even on camera. So today, me and Gary reconcile because we're not in beef. It just happened. So the people that saying we were fighting for Wilmer Bennett, it wasn't for no Wilmer Bennett. No Wilmer Bennett. So to all those that carry fake news, like I said, I forgive him, and y'all keep talking. Because if you don't talk, I don't think some of y'all gonna be here today. So y'all can keep talking. To all my fans that have been saying good and bad things, shout out you and shout out everybody. Shout out you, my brother Gary.
Respect, bro. Respect, bro.
And that's it. That's it right there. So according to Tango, this entire issue, the information that the fact was instigated by Tango Gary seeing Tango with his ex in the nightclub. He said the information is fake. The information is not true, according to him. Well, thanks to whoever intervened in that matter, But my problem with that incident is whatever the information is, whatever prompted the fact. I think why it's true that reconciliation is necessary. Sometimes we need to do things for deterrence. I do appreciate whoever reconciled between them. But for the fact, and that is if Gary took an instrument and stabbed Tango, that got him injured on his neck. If that is the case, then I think the reconciliation was not necessary in that matter. Why? Because I think Gary needed to bear the pinch of his action. I think he needed to be penalized, in some form and manner, so that it serves as deterrence. So that next time, when he and somebody gets into a fist fight, or when he and somebody are having a confrontation, he wouldn't be so courageous, so brave enough to take knife or whatever instrument to stab the person on their neck. So if that was the case, as it's been reported on several blogs, that, he intentionally or deliberately injured his friend, I'll say, on his neck. And I mean, it was a severe injury. Yeah. So if that were the situation, then of course, reconciliation is not necessary in that process. I think he should have faced some form of punishment. Like the case was taken to the police and he was detained for some time. I think he needed to pay some damage just to serve as deterrence. Because if you don't deter him from doing such, if it just happens and then everything slides away, if it just happens and he doesn't get punished for it, he will be audacious the next time. He will be bold. He will be brave the next time. Or here somebody gets into a fist fight, to do the same thing. So why is true that the reconciliation was necessary and blah 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 blah? But I think in this situation, deterrence was needed. Deterrence was needed. He needed to face some penalties so that the next time he and somebody gets into a confrontation or a fist fight, he thinks about harming the person with any other instrument, he will reflect about over the penalty that he faced during the previous incident. And that might serve as a deterrence, not to harm another person. But I mean, I'm in favor of reconciliation if the act wasn't intentional. That is harming Tanko. If the act wasn't intentional, well, there's no problem. I know people when they are temperamented, they do a lot of things. They go beyond limits and all of that. But as a person, as a human, you don't want to allow your temper to control you. You have to control your temper, whatever the situation is. So according to other accounts, in fact, Gary denied actually harming him. Yeah, Gary denied harming him, has been circulated on social media. But whatever the case is, I'm just saying, if Gary deliberately carried out the action, I think he needed to face some penalties. To serve as deterrence going forward, that he would not harm anybody if they should get into a fist fight, if they should get into any sort of confrontation. Yeah, and that is my perspective about that. Now, moving forward. There's a lot of training issues in the country right now. So on yesterday, the president suspended MCSS superintendent pending investigation. So let's read this statement from the executive mansion social media handle. So it says, President Bouaka suspends the MCSS superintendent pending investigation into alleged financial misconduct. President Bouaka, Joseph Yuma Bouaka Sr. has suspended Mr. James A.S. Momo, superintendent of the Monrovia Consolidated School System, with immediate effect and without pay, pending the conclusion of a full and impartial investigation into allegations of administrative financial misconduct. The suspension follows serious reports received by the Office of the President, including the unauthorized procurement of 6,500 decks and chairs valued at USD 357,500. Alleged kickback schemes involving MCSS personnel, as highlighted in a report by the Financial Intelligence Agency of Liberia. A USD 451,150 contract signed on July 11, 2024 for laboratory supplies and services reportedly executed outside of established procurement procedures. These allegations indicate a disturbing pattern of mismanagement and potential corruption under Superintendent Momo's leadership. In line with the government's commitment to good governance, transparency, and the rule of law under the arrest agenda, the president has directed the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission, LACC, and relevant government entities to conduct a thorough investigation into the matter. Superintendent Momo is further instructed to fully cooperate with the LACC and to immediately hand over all MCSS property and official documents in his possession to the chairperson of the MCSS board, Mr. John Charuk Siafa. The government of Liberia remains resolute in protecting the integrity of public institutions and ensuring that those entrusted with public service are held to the highest standards of accountability and ethical conduct. Signed, Anthony Nkula Bona, Yei Fofana, the Presidential Press Secretary. So another suspension by the President of the Republic of Liberia, His Excellency Joseph Yuman Boaka. And I'd like to thank the President for all the suspensions. You know, I think it shows decisiveness. It shows decisiveness. And that's one attribute a good leader must have. Decisiveness. You must be decisive in decision making. If you're indecisive, it becomes a problem. But when you are decisive, if anybody breaches any law, any policy of the institution that you govern, you take immediate action against that person. And I think in this light, the President Joseph Boaka has got to be commended. We need to applaud him, you know, for being very proactive in this light. Even though I have some problem with the suspensions, but we come to that later. Now, there have been this argument on social media, you know, about Joseph Boaka suspending more officials of government, of his government, in 1 year, 6 months, more than the CDC 6 years. Yeah, there has been a lot of argument surrounding dates on social media. And just to go into this a little bit. Yes, the CDC government, one of the weaknesses of the CDC government was the indecisiveness of the president, former President George Weah. He was very indecisive. There were a lot of individuals accused of corruption. He couldn't suspend them, neither dismiss them. There were not too many suspensions in the CDC government. 6-year rule of the CDC government, there were not too many suspensions. A few suspensions. And I tend to agree with those who have said that, you know, on President Joseph Yuman Boaka's 1 year, 6 month rule, he has suspended more officials than the CDC 6-year rule. Because if you should go into the record, that's going to be the fact. Because just on the regime of President Joseph Yuman Boaka, a lot of suspensions. The suspension of James Momo from the MCSS is the latest. The suspension of Abdullah Kamara, LTS Commissioner General. The suspension of Emma Glasgow of NAFA, even though some may say that's a political suspension, all of that. but she was suspended because of allegations of mismanagement and corruption, in short. The suspension of Amin Modai, the commerce minister. Whoever thought that a former party chairman, who has been given a position in government, a very strategic position in government, in no time will be suspended for corruption. Whoever thought that? So the suspension of the 457 public officials who failed to declare access. And I know somebody will say, but the 457 suspension of those who failed to declare their access alone, it supersedes the suspensions that President Boubacar, that the former President George Weah did. But let's put this suspension of the 457 public officials who failed to declare their assets. Let's put this particular suspension aside. We also had a suspension of Rostalin Swakoko Dennis, the former Montserrat County District 4 representative. She was suspended from NOCAD as president and CEO. Deviator Brown Lasana was also suspended. Yeah, Deviator Brown Lasana, the chairperson of the National Elections Commission, she was suspended. Steve Zako, with the kind of relationship between President Boubacar and Steve Zako from the same county, Lofa, I wouldn't have thought easily that President Boubacar who just suspend him. And most of these suspensions lead to dismissal. They don't come back. They don't come back. All right? The suspension of Abraham Kroma. Who also ever thought that Abraham Kroma in no time within the government of the Unity Party will be suspended and not coming back or not given another position to serve? Ibrahim Kroma and Fadiga. Yeah, Hassan Fadiga. They were suspended from the LDA. The suspension of Dr. Adams Lincoln, Deputy Director General at NFL. The suspension of Garrison Yellow, the chairperson of former chairperson of the Governance Commission, and Madam Elizabeth Dawkins, Commissioner of the Governance Commission. Even though they will say that's a political suspension, but that's suspension under the regime of President Boubacar. They were suspended because of mismanagement, misconduct. The chief bodyguard of the president was suspended, even though that suspension was not made official, but we got info that he was suspended. Tanu Kesely, he was suspended by the president. Aloysius told the CBO governor, I know somebody will say it's another political suspension. That suspension shouldn't have been with two other officials of the government. Mr. Notu Japa, managing director of the National Insurance Company of Liberia, NINCO, and Mr. Joseph Sandu Momolu, who was the chairman of NICO's board of directors. He was also suspended. The director general of the Financial Intelligence Agency was suspended. All of these suspensions happened under the regime of President Joseph Boubacar in 1 year, 6 months. And yeah, so President Boubacar has carried out a lot of suspensions. Plus so much more. I wasn't able to catalog all of the suspensions carried out by President Boubacar. But if you look back at the regime of the CDC, at the suspensions that were done on the CDC, well, you wouldn't count much suspension. You wouldn't count much. I want to say Nathaniel McGill, Serena Seifers, and all of those other top government officials in the CDC government who were sanctioned by the U.S. government. I want to say they were suspended, but I don't think that's not suspension. I think they resigned. All three, they tendered in their resignation, letter of resignation. A suspension is what President Bouaka is doing. Release an official press statement, like in the case of James Momoa, that you suspended. But in the case of Nathaniel McGill, Serena Cephas, and Bill Traore, we didn't see that. They resigned. They resigned, even though they were sanctioned by the U.S. government. They resigned. The former president was maybe afraid, or not afraid, but because of the relationship, between he and those individuals. He didn't want to suspend them. Maybe he thought suspension would have been so harsh for them, even though they were sanctioned by the U.S. government. So they resigned. With the gravity of allegation against them, they resigned. They were told to resign, and they resigned. So I don't want to consider that as a suspension. Maybe some of the popular suspension that we can talk about under the regime of the former president, George Weah, would be the suspension of Eugene Fagon, for spewing ethnic rhetorics. Yeah. Eugene Fagon, Edwin Dennis. There was a suspension of the Enfield director, Mr. Fala, Dr. Fala, Musaka Fala. Those were some of the popular few suspensions done under the CDC government. Yeah. So I think when it comes to being decisive, President Bouaka, one may say the suspension being done by President Bouaka, suspensions are selective. Well, that's another issue to discuss. Because if you say suspension is selective, then there must be cases in which glaringly government officials should be suspended by the president, and those government officials are not suspended. Then we can argue that. Yeah. But the next question is suspension enough? That's the next question. Why should we applaud to commend the president for all of the suspensions that he's carried out? Yes. But are those suspensions enough? Because those individuals, majority of them, all of them, as except for the 457 public officials who were suspended without salary for not declaring their artists, but the rest of them were suspended for corruption. The rest of them were suspended for corruption, mismanaging public funds, embezzlement, taking public money for their own use, conflict of interest, and all of that. So if these people are suspended, the next thing that we do expect is for an investigation to be carried out. And the investigation should not be perpetual investigation. All right? Because, I mean, let's admit, to do them due diligence to, that is those who have been suspended, you need to do them due diligence. Because we considered, those counts against them as allegations. We consider those counts as allegations until, the LACC or the GSC can carry out an investigation and come up with findings. So it could also be that, some of the allegations, against those individuals are not true. In the government sector, especially top government positions, a lot of filthy politics can play. So some of the suspensions might just be fabrications by individuals who want to undermine the individual suspended and everything. And that is why an investigation has got to be done to do the person due diligence. And if the person is found culpable of those acts or those allegations against them, they shouldn't walk scot-free. They shouldn't go scot-free. They shouldn't go scot-free because in some of those allegations, in some of some of the allegations against some of those public officials, those are huge allegations of embezzling huge sum of money intended for the growth and development of the country. So we can't just suspend them and just be suspending and just be suspending and just be suspending, and then we're leaving them to go with impunity, or investigation becomes perpetual, never ending. What's the status of the investigation of Amin Moda? What is the status of that investigation? The former commerce minister. What's the status of that investigation? I think he was the first government official to have been suspended, as tend to be corrected. What is the status, the current status of that investigation? We don't know. Herman Glasgow, what's the status of the investigation launched into those allegations for which she was suspended? What's the status? Rostolin Swakoko Dennis, what's the status? What is the status? Ibrahim Kurmai and Fadiga, they were just suspended. We heard the president, has launched an investigation. And we even understand that findings of the investigation have since been presented to the president, but the public don't know about the finding. But they remain perpetually suspended, and investigation. I mean, all the public knows that investigation is still going on. So those people, why is true, we appreciate suspension, but when they are suspended, they shouldn't go scot-free. They should not go scot-free when they are suspended. They need to be prosecuted. And if found guilty, some of them may to repay the money they embezzle from government covers. They need to be made to repay them. If they don't repay them, they spend their days being bad. That's how it should be. So I think we should now go, the president should now go beyond suspension. I think he should be more proactive now when it comes to investigating those suspended and taking actions against them. Then we can give him all of the applauses. All of the applauses. Then we can say he's promoting good governance. Yeah. But you suspend the people. I mean, what's the difference? What difference does it make? Somebody in opposition, they, accused of corruption, and you suspend them, and that allegation is just on them. You can substantiate that. In fact, that person could go somewhere tomorrow to get a job. That person can go somewhere tomorrow and apply for the job. And when they are asked, but you have this record of suspension for allegations of corruption, that person could defend themselves against those allegations. Those were just allegations. No investigation was done. And the person could defend themselves. But if you prosecute the person, if they are found guilty, tomorrow if they're applying for a job somewhere, that stigma is there. In fact, if they are found guilty, say, some of them, I mean, they'll have to face their jail jail sentence or repay those money. If they can, they go to jail. So they only have the guts to go somewhere and defend themselves. So I think the president needs to do more. The president needs to go beyond suspension to prosecution. People embezzling, misusing government money should now walk scot-free. Their only penalties should not be suspension. Their only penalties should not be suspension. Because if the only penalty is suspension, I mean, it's not going to serve as deterrence. It's not going to serve as deterrence. Because if I know that if I go into government, if I'm occupying a certain, prestigious or high-profile position in government, top position, I go and, I embezzle about 300,000 USD, 500,000 USD, and then they just suspend me for it. And if I should have been in that position for 6 years, and if my salary is 6,000 or 7,000 or 8,000, and the money I stole from that company, even if I served in that position for the 6 years, it wouldn't reach up to the amount that I stole from the company. So the person will benefit free. The person will benefit more. Because they suspended. They took money, they embezzled over 300,000, over 500,000, 400,000, 200,000. Some of those people, if they work in those same positions for the next 6 years, or let's say the next 3.5 years of in fact 4.5 years of the Unity Party regime, they will not get that those monies that they embezzled in salaries and benefits. They will not get it. So it's going to be more beneficial to them if they take those money and you just let them go free. They will go sit and enjoy that money. It's not going to have any negative impact on them because they're enjoying that corruption money. They get that corruption money with them. Nobody is bothering them. Nobody bothering them. They'll go sit somewhere in the corner. They enjoy that corruption money. Yeah. And they'll be stress-free. They'll be stress-free because they will not be working. They will not be on the job, moving from one place to another and blah, blah, blah. Just go sit down in one corner and enjoy that corruption money because there is no prosecution. So the president has got to go beyond suspension. We do commend suspension, yes. I think that's the start of the process. But the president needs to go beyond suspension to prosecuting those accused of misusing or embezzling or mismanaging or misappropriating, however you want to term it. The president needs to prosecute them. Yeah. Okay. Moving fast forward, folks. On yesterday also, the National Commission on Higher Education cracked down on illegal institutions, and they have they put up a release, a press statement to that effect, and I'm going to read that press statement verbatim. So it says, NCHE cracks down on illegal institutions. 31 unaccredited schools shut down immediately. In a significant regulatory enforcement action, the National Commission on Higher Education has officially released a list of 31 unauthorized higher education institutions operating illegally across Liberia, ordering their immediate closure. This announcement is part of NCHE's intensified efforts to improve the country's higher education sector and protect students from unregulated academic programs that offer substandard or unrecognized credentials. The institutions affected, which include health science colleges, theological seminaries, and management schools, were found operating without accreditation and offering diplomas, associate degrees, bachelor's degrees, and even, are you kidding me, PhDs outside the legal framework established by the Ministry of Education and the National Commission on Higher Education. According to the National Commission on Higher Education's notice, these schools have been operating in violation of the Higher Education Law of Liberia. Students enrolled in the affected institutions are advised to discontinue their studies and consult the NCHE for guidance on transitioning to accredited institution. Some of the institutions listed for immediate closure include the Metu Institute of Health and Laboratory Sciences at 72nd Junction in Painesville, Christ Laborers School System, Pipeline Road in Painesville, Great Commission Christian University, Pipeline Road, Painesville, Elizabeth Medical Institute of Health Sciences, Mount Barclay, Monserrato County, Faith College of Professional Studies, Jacobstown, Painesville, Millennium Institute of Health Sciences, Congotown, Gonet Academy, Cooper Road, Painesville, Monroeville Open Bible College in St. Paul, Asida Christian College in Ganta-Nimba County, Liberty Theological Seminary, 15th and 16th Streets, Monrovia, Professional Journalism School of Liberia, GSA Road, Painesville, Sabenka School of Travel and Tourism, Gully Street, Elizabeth Medical Health Center, Mount Barclay, Limo V School of Health Assistant, Morris's Farm, Vision Act Institute, Capital Bypass, New Dimension Theological Seminary, St. Peter High School, Painesville. The NCHE cautioned the public to avoid enrolling in any of the listed institutions and emphasized that enforcement actions would continue against any unaccredited college or university offering degrees or certificates in Liberia. The crackdown aims to send a strong message to operators of unapproved institutions and reaffirm the NCHE's commitment to maintaining academic integrity and standardization in the country's educational system. The full list of closed institutions can be accessed on the NCHE website or at their head office in Monrovia. Yeah, so another decisive action taken by the Unity Party government, thanks to Dr. Wonkeyo, who's the head of the National Commission on Higher Education. He's been there since the regime of the CDC. So they've closed 31 schools down for operating outside the laws, the education laws of the country. 31 schools. And unfortunately, I'm sorry for those students who had, paid their fees, their tuition and everything to attend those institutions. I mean, their educational process is just going to be, stalled. It's going to be cut off, because of the actions of the proprietors or of those, managing those institutions. Is unfortunate for them. And that is why moving forward as a student, wanting to enroll at any institution, you want to check up with the NCHE to inform yourself to know if that school is accredited, so that such incident can happen to affect or to stall your educational sojourn. Already in Liberia, times are tough. Times are tough. Folks are struggling. Citizens are struggling to get money, and some of those institutions they charge exorbitantly in fees and tuition. They charge exorbitantly, and I'm quite sure some of the students are paid their entire fees, their entire tuition to attend those schools, expecting diplomas, expecting associate degrees, expecting bachelor's degrees, and all of that. Like the NCHE said, some of those schools are offering PhDs. I thought it is only the University of Liberia that's offering PhD in Liberia, but kind of shocked from what the NCHE is saying. So I mean, it's just unfortunate, and I hope. But there's a solution, and the solution is those schools just ensuring that they get their accreditation. Because the thing is just simple: just follow the educational laws, and you operate without any hindrance, without any interference, without any embarrassment. Just go get your accreditation. Okay? And for the sake of your students also, you want to go and do the right thing with the NCHE and get back operating. I think that's the only way to go. And this is meant to ensure that you offer students quality education, because there are too many schools in this country now. Too many schools. Most of them, the education quality is very low. Some of the instructors aren't qualified. And especially so if you're offering degrees, associate degrees, BScs and all of that. I mean, the education law call for a criteria. There's a criteria that you must follow. The teachers or those, teaching students in those institutions must meet up with certain credential, certain qualification before teaching. So if you just leave everything undone, and then you go, you operate unilaterally, unilaterally to the best of your taste, I'll say, the way you want to operate, then it becomes a problem. And that is why these days we have a lot of young people graduating, getting the bachelor's degrees, or getting the associate degrees and all the other degrees. But some of them, their output, their output, don't commensurate, don't match with their qualification. And if you spend all of your time, 4 years, some 5 years, to get a bachelor's degree, and at the end of the day, your output don't commensurate, don't match with your qualification, then it was just a waste of time. And who's responsible? Yes, you may take some of the responsibility, but the institution too will take some. Yeah. So I think those institutions need to do the right thing. And we will go to the lines to talk to a few persons here on the show. Call us on 0777 771 0777 771 0575 Call this morning and have your say. And just before we go to the lines, on yesterday, the U.S. Embassy released a statement. It says, effective immediately, all individuals applying for an FM or J non-immigrant visa are requested to adjust the privacy settings on all of their social media accounts to public to facilitate vetting necessary to establish their identity and admissibility to the United States under U.S. law. I'll read that again. Effective immediately, all individuals applying for an FM or J non-immigrant visas are requested to adjust the privacy settings on all of their personal social media accounts to public to facilitate vetting necessary to establish their identity and admissibility to the United States. What do you make of this? Also, so if you applying for visa, non-immigrant visa to the United States, you know, the US is saying that all your social media handles, your Facebook, if you have a Twitter account, if you have an Instagram account, all of your social media handles should be on public. The privacy should be public so that they can be able to access it to carry out their vetting process. You know, yeah, because social media nowadays, a lot of people are on social media, and a lot of people, you know, post their daily activities, what they involved with, their workings and everything, their family and everything on social media. So that is used by the embassy, you know, to carry out vetting. If you say you this, you say you that, they go to do research to know whether, you know, everything that you are saying or that you've said is true. So let's now go to the lines and hear your views about all of the training issues that we've discussed here this morning. Again, the numbers are 0777 1075 0555 101075. Those are the numbers to call. Call this morning and have your say. Let's talk to this first person. Hello, your name and where you join us from. Yeah, good morning. Let's hear you.
Okay. But the first thing is for the why going on about suspension.
Yeah.
Okay, the suspension I think it would be like why the CDC government were having the supplementary payroll. Okay, in that the people that have to pay money to sponsor the election of President Blanca, they were promised to are given and then certain time then they will be suspended as well as they are getting whatsoever they spend in the election. Okay, that's what going on. And then with the education.
Okay, we lost him. Let's talk to another person here. Hello, your name and where you join us from?
Good morning. My name is Erasmus T. Gray, quarter for Police Academy.
Erasmus, let's hear you.
I need to commend the National Commission on Higher Education for the work done, because there are many institutions within Liberia here around our vicinity that are not qualified to be any study class. So shutting down special schools like that will get other schools credited to get a better education for our Liberian people. Thank you there.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's talk to another person here. Hello, your name and where you join us from? Hello? Hello, your name and where you join us from? Hello?
Hello, this is Mr. Remy. Hello?
Hello, let's hear you, please.
This is Mr. Remy calling from the old road.
Yeah, Mr. Remy, let's hear you from the old road.
Okay, thank you for the topic this morning. You rightly said that schools are employing corruption and then the president go on to sustain them. It's not enough. Some people make away with huge sum of amount and you are being suspended. Why worry? just go and sit down and enjoy your money. Anytime you want to get a new job, if they get enough money, you can still find a job. So let the president go beyond that. Thank you for the topic this morning.
Okay, thank you very much for calling and making your point. 077771075 055 the numbers to put it through this morning. You are listening to the Today Show here on Spoon 107.5. Let's talk to this person. Good morning. Your name and where you join us from?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm okay. Let's hear you.
I'm Abraham Kuma.
Abraham, go ahead.
I'm calling you from Ghana.
Okay.
I want to thank the president and the government, this Republic of Nigeria. Now, yesterday, the National Commission made a very big announcement, which sounds good. But my question is that how did those people who they are claiming closely, how did they come into being? That's one. Two, I also see that most of the institutions that they name that they are closing, they are not the one that open them. Those institutions are not higher institutions of learning. Why should they use this full name to gain political sentiment? That's two. The third one is the institution itself has to be audited. What qualification? Who did that work? What qualification? Want to see what those people did. Because to just get up and say this person should be closed, what are the reasons? There should be qualification. We want to see who all did the work, to see the qualification of those that did the work, to see whether what they're saying is actually true, or is it intended to scoop political goal or to cover up some money that they are taking. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, so folks, that's it right here. We take a few more calls. 077771075 055510175. The numbers to put it through. Let's talk to this person. Hello, your name and where you join us from?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm okay. Let's hear you. Your name and where you join us from?
Well, thank you for your topic. You know, the issue of suspension by the president is welcoming.
Your name, sir?
Oh, my name is Joseph Noah.
Okay. Joseph, go ahead.
Calling from Nizo.
Go ahead.
Now, the president still on this suspension and then turn them over to the ALCC. They are now responsible to scrutinize these suspensions and the statement by the president and make sure these people face court prosecution. But the process is so slow that it goes a long way, and people think that the president is not doing much. But I think the president did his, and it's left with the ALCC and the court to come in and do what is right for the Liberian people. So you will not bring the president. They should be blamed, and we should be able to put fire on their back to be able to make the president succeed in that manner in which you are just saying.
Thank you. Thank you.
They enjoying their money.
Thank you very much. Let's talk to another person here. Hello, your name and where you join us from?
Hello?
Hello, let's hear you.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing you. My name is Savannah in the community. Thank you for your previous project. You know, our politics, if you not for somebody, anything the body do, it will not go down with you. And before being a partisan, you were Liberian. Like, in Liberia, see, after the people say political party over country. At least now comment the president Walker. Unlike the past government, but if the president tell you, and now the president now the president for president to investigate you. Even when they send it to LACC, the both that will do the investigation, they will come to the president. But it didn't when the president tell you allegedly, because now you prove it. That's why the next will tell you. So
Okay.
if the LACC want to come in, if they tell the report, I do like a man was talking here, everybody was talking, and then what happened today? And he has suspended them. So now get a next chance. Let them say that. Let them pass on. Let them start more good people say that someone, man. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks for calling this morning. You listening to the Today Show. But yeah, I mean, investigating is not it's true, it's not a direct function of the president, but the president is the head of the state. Head of the state. And he can ensure that investigations are swift. The findings of investigations are brought up swiftly. He can pressure the heads of those anti-graft institutions. He has the power, he has the authority to pressure them to swiftly investigate certain matters. Do you know that some investigations in this country are, delayed intentionally? Of course, they are delayed intentionally. Some investigations, because those who are being investigated, a lot of them already have the cash. They have embezzled a lot of money, and they have the financial potency. So when they are sent to the when the LSCC or the GSC and all other anti-graft institutions are ordered by the president to have them investigated, what they do, they go to some of these institutions and bribe them to delay the investigation. That happens. All right. So why is it the president doesn't have that direct investigative power? But the president is the president of the country. He has the authority. He can pressure those officials of the LACC to, to swiftly investigate matters. So if corruption cases are being delayed at those anti-graft institutions, at the LACC, at the GSE, the blame will squarely be placed on the president because he's the president of the country. He's the president of the country. So that's it. 0777 771 075 1075. This is the Today Show right here on Spoon 107.5. Let's talk to this person. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, is your name and where you join us from?
I'm calling from Ghana's-Ville.
Yeah, Ghana's-Ville. Let's say you from Ghana's-Ville, please.
Thank you. I want to thank the president very much. President William has been doing very well since they took over. Just want him to double up on what he's doing. The first thing is that while he's suspending people, there are others who are even doing massive corruptions and all of those things. So he needs to double up, because if he doesn't do that, in no time we'll start comparing him to George Weah that we all condemned a few years back. There are a lot of things going on in the country. People come and sugarcoat outside, but when you go inside, you see plenty of things going on wrong. So the next thing is that the Commission on Higher Education, I want the president to make sure that that institution is audited. I want that president to make sure that institution is audited, because what I saw yesterday, they kind of lazy put up with all the institutions in Liberia having problems, and they are the one that been monitoring and supervising and accrediting those institutions for since they was established. They are the same people that did that, and they came yesterday to put all of the list aside. I see something behind it. I think that they want to give political sentiment. They want to give some kind of sentiment. No, I don't think what they're saying is correct, because right after they gave their statement, some institutions came out to say they are not even accredited by them. They were accredited by Ministry of Education. Why will they come and put a kind of large information also, just so that the public can say, oh, they are doing well, they are doing well?
Thank you.
I want the president to audit them. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, so folks, that's it. We'll take a very quick break. We come back, we discuss other issues. You're listening to the Today Show right here on Spoon 107.5. We are live on Fabric as well. and on our various social media handles. My name is Yekezi Zobalistic. This very short break to be back with you.